Well, I've just returned from a trip. It's now hiking down with rain. I've tried to finish this vlog for quite a while now, but I've never quite got the situation, the time to do it. I've just returned from photographing the lone tree, so I thought, while I'm in my car waiting for the rain to stop a bit, I'll do it now. Excuse the hula hoop, it's a light painting tool which I can't quite reach. Anyway, I've tried to memorise what I'm going to say, but there's too much to memorise, so I'm going to have to look down periodically to see what I'm going to read. It's about Karl Blossfeldt. Now, he's a German photographer, born in 1865 and died in 1932. So he died almost 100 years ago. As I said, he was a German photographer, mainly known for his botanical work which is easily recognisable. If you see, and you've probably all seen some of his photographs, they're very detailed, close-up, usually square format botanical works in black and white and sepia on occasion. The extreme close-ups of plants, twigs, seeds and leaves, they're much to my liking. There's a real architecture to his photographs. They're beautifully simplistic yet complex in nature, and as I've said, there's a real architecture to them. You can see the curves, you can see the detail, you can see the repetition of pattern in Blossfeldt's work. I mentioned before, there's beauty in everything, most things, often overlooked things, or things that we've become complacent with. We're bombarded with hundreds of images every day, hundreds of articles, hundreds of news items, so no wonder we kind of zone out to the simple things in life. Karl Blossfeldt grounds me, he really does. When I look at his work, and then I'll go into the field and I'll see a simple plant and I'll spend time looking at it, and it really pulls me back down to earth. I would challenge anybody to go into your garden and slow down and look for simple objects that you can photograph. Nice, clean images. When you do it, just relax. It won't be easy because you'll want to move very quickly. You'll want to, well, I want to anyway, to get up, to move around, to do something else. Have a go. While reading The Genius of Photography and watching the associated videos, I came across Karl Blossfeldt and the photography genre of typology, which is the classification according to a general type. There's lots of these. A lot of people won't understand them. A lot of people won't get them. A lot of people will just think boring. And there's plenty out there. There are Bernard Becher and Hiller Becher, the blast furnace series. Have a look at them. Friends of mine have said it's a blast furnace, and I get that. Donovan Wigley's Watchtower photographs. I would encourage you to watch his video, suspend your disbelief to the end. All these watchtowers have now gone, they're no longer with us. If you hadn't photographed them, it would have, as if they would have never been there. Many of the things you photographed are probably gone or changed over time beyond recognition, falling into decay, being demolished. And imagine if you'd never photographed them. Again, as I said, it would have been as if they never existed. Perhaps that's why we all record light, to remember things, to have a reference point for things. Karl Blossfeldt wasn't formally trained as a photographer. He studied in Rome under Moritz Muir, who was a decorative artist and a professor of ornament and design. And you can see the ornamentation and you can see the design in Blossfeldt's work. In 1930 he became Professor Emeritus Emeritus. He became Professor Emeritus. Professor Emeritus. Professor Emeritus. I know how to say it. Emeritus Professor. And established a plant photography archive. He photographed thousands and thousands of images. And he used them to teach his students about design and patterns found in nature. He used homemade cameras. And that blows my mind. He made his own cameras. And he outfitted the cameras with lenses that enabled him to magnify his subjects up to 30 times their natural size to really show the detail. There's an extreme detail and clarity to his photographs. Bear in mind, these were taken over, low battery, these were taken over 100 years ago. And I think, digressing from my transcript slightly, I think that's the problem. Many people would say, it's just a plant, Andy. It's just a flower, it's just a twig. But 100 years ago, when we weren't bombarded with images, when you couldn't go out and see all these images. No, if you want to see something, Google it and it's there. Like that, back in them days, many people hadn't seen the photographs that Blossfeldt photographed. I've got two of his books, both in the car, none of which I'll get out because I'll get wet because it's wet outside. And I'll put links below to the photographs. I mean, are these photographs the best I've ever seen? Well, again, that depends what you mean by the best. I think they're the best in that specific genre of botanical photography. And although they do have great detail and contrast, I have seen much better photographs. Technically, I've taken better photographs because I've focus stacked them. But again, to repeat what I said, this is 100 years ago. That's not what draws me to Blossfeldt's work. I think they have a soul, they have a character. And again, 100 years ago, now it's 100 years ago, it just floats off the tongue, doesn't it? 100 years ago, but 100 years ago. Have a look at his work. You might hate them. You might go, eh. Or you might like them. They may really pull you in to his work. A lot of words there. Not as fluid as I would have liked. I did want to be out on a wonderful warm day, and I might review this audio, this video, and at the end, after this little video, I'll show you some of my takes on his theme. Again, none of these were really researched. I simply went into my garden and I photographed some images, and I'll show you some of Karl Blossfeldt's work. I'll put a link also to Ted Forbes' vlog on Karl Blossfeldt, much better than mine. And I say that with all due respect to myself. He's got more knowledge on Blossfeldt than I have. Google him, have a look at his work. I believe you'll enjoy it. If you don't, you may have learned something. That's about it really. But again, in sum, it's just about the simplicity in photography. You don't have to photograph the gargantuan images, the massive vistas. I'm repeating myself, I get that. And I am noticing when I watch vlogs, there's a lot of repetition. There's nothing wrong with that. Going to the same scene that people have been to before, who cares? But specifically on his work, spending 5 minutes looking at a photograph of a plant is hard, but it's rewarding. You'll relax, you'll see detail, you'll see architecture in the work, and it's wonderful. Yeah, I know I'm off and I do this all the time, but it's because I'm so passionate about photography, and I'm so passionate about the beauty that's out there in nature, things that we overlook all the time. 11 minutes, 5 minutes worth of photographs. I'm going to get this down to 10 minutes or less. Thanks for watching. Any comments, any queries, give me a shout. See ya.